everybody's piled in with their thoughts. Can I just get yours? Because you are one of the most respected voices in the sport.
I think, well, what I will say, it is very bad for boxing, what's happened. I think it doesn't help it at all. But that's by the by, it is what it is. And the only thing I will say, VADA is is a very highly recognised thorough testing, but also UCAD is as well. And I don't believe that VADA's picked something up and UCAD hasn't. So my question is, he's been tested by both organisations. How come VADA's picked it up and not UCAD? When did UCAD become aware of it? You know, because there's something amiss right there. The other thing I'm going to say is for Nigel Benn, you know, his dad come out today. He totally denial, said my son's clean. Young Ben has come out and said he's totally clean. You know, why say stuff like that when it's going to come and bite you back in the ass? So when people automatically say the guilty, and this and that, you know, look, there's scenarios. What if the trainer, what if the conditioner, whoever they've got there, what about if they've been giving them stuff and not telling them?
Yeah.
What about if he's been given stuff and he's not been told? You know, they could be disguising it as a B12 injection. You know, B12 shots, you inject them. Could tell a fighter anything, couldn't they?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, everybody's assuming the guilty. There could be an army of. I've only just give you a few.
Mm-hmm.
There could be an army of answers there, and there could be an army of solutions. Maybe they've got the testing wrong. Maybe when they rerun it, they've done something wrong, and there's an error and a discrepancy. It's happened before. Could happen again. I'm not trying to defend anybody, but I'm also not going to lay blame when we don't know the facts either.
Yeah.
Because for UCAD not to know about it and be clean, and all of a sudden VADA's picked something up, how does that work? That's a mystery in itself. So, like I said, the jury's out, but there's one thing for sure: we will find out what the actual truth is sooner or later. The truth will have to come out because it's so high profile, and it's so damaging for boxing, and also damaging for young Ben's reputation. So it's going to have to come full circle. Look, ultimately, if he's done it, he needs to come out and tell the truth and admit to it.
Yeah.
Or if he's not done it, prove why he hasn't done it. It's not rocket science, is it? And these organisations need to speak up and say how come they've not detected it, you know, and how come it's VADA and not UCAD when they're both as stringent as each other. They don't just check for certain things. You rigorously checked. They check for everything under the sun. So how come one's picked it up and one hasn't? So there's a lot of question marks around it. But either way, it needs sorting out so everybody knows where they stand.
Peter, can I ask, this is allegedly something that they've all been sitting on for a few weeks now. A, what do you think of that? And then B, once it's public knowledge, do you think the fight should have been immediately called off, or can you understand why they prolonged it, see if they could get it to go ahead?
I honestly don't know what, you know, I don't know why, you know, you know, why take it into fight week if they knew 2 weeks ago? You know, so obviously they've been trying to get this fight over the line, hook or by crook, you know, any which way they can get it over the line, which isn't, it's not an ideal situation, and it's backfired terribly, hasn't it?
How do we sort it out?
None of it is good, is it? But you're asking my opinion. My opinion, I don't know what it is because I don't know the facts.
How do we sort this out, Peter? Because this isn't the first time that we've had this, and I'm talking about on a wider scale. How does boxing get a handle on tests and testing organisations and a procedure that if something like this happens again?
I think, look, they need to look at it. They need to clean the sport up because it is unfair. If somebody's cheating, if somebody's training themselves silly in the gym, there's only so much training a clean athlete can do. He needs maximum recovery. You know, if somebody's juiced up, they can train around the clock. You know, so there is a big advantage. There's a big advantage mentally and physically because if a fighter's juiced up, he knows he's got that edge, so it's giving him that confidence they wouldn't normally have. So it needs dealing with because it's unfair. It's not a level playing field, and sport needs to be fair, especially when you got two people going against each other. It shouldn't be tipped. It shouldn't be tipped one way or another by drugs. Basically, it needs to be fair, doesn't it?
It does. Peter, last one on this. As a trainer, if you had your fighter going into a fight and a positive test was revealed, what would your actions be?
Well, we've been there, Steve, haven't we?
Yeah.
We've had all this over time, and it's there's a lot of I don't know. There's a lot of stuff which obviously we can't go into for legal reasons, but Jesus Christ, it's a minefield.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not so quick to lay blame anywhere, because there is a minefield. There's so much that can go wrong there. It's ridiculous. There's so much involved in it. So like I say, it's I don't know really. But look, ultimately if they're found guilty and they've done absolutely wrong, then that's it. They shouldn't be boxing, should they? We all know in boxing, there's a lot of naysayers. You say stuff and they don't believe it. It's something like this with this Ben situation. You know, he's been annihilated.
Yeah.
You know, when I look at stuff like that, you know, I don't like it. It puts us not as a good society, to be honest. You know, it's bad enough what's happened, and we all know the consequences, and we all know about being a drug cheat. We all know about everything under the sun. But please give somebody the benefit of the doubt. You know, they haven't spoke up yet. So if that's the case, and we go on like we're going on, then yeah, why are we having a judge and jury? Mm-hmm. Why don't we pull people off the street and say you're guilty? Yeah, there's 40 years up your ass.
Yeah.
And throw in a dungeon. Why do we have a judge and jury then? You know, if we're going to just say, that's it, you've done it. It's in your system. That's it, you've done it. Well, how's it got there? How good is that test?
Yeah.
How come UKAD's not picked it up? Yeah? Has somebody give it to them without them knowing about it? There's loads of ifs and buts there. We don't know yet, do we?
We don't, Peter. That's
and look, and they may be right. They may be right. He's done it. And when he's done it, yeah, throw the book at him for it. That's fine. But let's see the proof first, isn't it? Before you start doing all that.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the least common approach these days, Peter, taken by people.
Listen, young Ben's only a young man. My advice to him, if he is involved and he's done it, come clean, hold his hands up, and, you know, get a deal done or whatever he's going to do. Admit to it. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody tells lies sometime in their life. You know, just admit to it, and that's it. Get on with it. Take the ban, whatever it is, and move forward.